as a pro, I don't know, it's really stressful. And I want to have a family, I want to have some kids, so I don't want to be there for the kids. That's the main important thing. Okay, so I called Blade. I was not that good in Russian, and he was like, let's switch to English. In my head, I thought, why? And then it clicked. I think we're making an international lineup.
All right, here we are with the GGBet in-depth interview with JL. We're gonna start from the beginning, the origin story. When did you start playing CS? Was it a previous version, or you go right into CSGO?
I played some of 1.6, but I don't remember much of those times. I played maybe like a dozen hours.
Okay,
that's about it.
Not competitive, just dabbling.
No, just dabbled into it.
Yeah.
And then I started playing CSGO when I was 15 or 16. I'm not sure of the timeline, but that was around the time.
Okay, cool. Did it grab you pretty much immediately, Counter-Strike?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, mainly because my brother was playing and I wanted to be better than him.
Sure.
And then later on, I wanted to be better than my classmates, people in school, everyone.
Everyone in Lithuania.
Yes, just fuck everyone.
Everyone in the pro scene. It just kept building up from there. Is there something about Counter-Strike as a game that was like a mechanic in the game or the way the game is played that just kind of grabbed you?
Yeah, I like duels a lot. And it gives me some sort of confidence when I win them.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of dominance over a player. And yeah.
Do you like that feeling of just a swing and a win?
I want to swing and win. And even in clutches, you're not supposed to scare to peek. And even in clutches, when you have to like stand your ground and whatever, I like to peek the opponent and it's really off balancing for them.
Okay, so I kind of subvert what they think is going to happen. Yeah, like throwing them off their game. Was there a particular player in the early days that you watched in early Counter-Strike that you were like, this guy plays the way I think I would like to play, or he's just a super smart, someone you tried to emulate?
I don't think I've ever wanted to become like a player, like a certain player, but I love watching Simple. Probably everyone has.
Yeah.
But in the later years, I enjoyed Drops. I think he's really smart and calculated. I like Zygo because he's just talented and doesn't appear to make a mistake to an untrained guy. And even a trained guy, he's just playing perfect CS.
Yeah.
And yeah, those three are probably my idol.
It's funny because like Simple's always the one that we point out and we're like, if you want to learn how to play Counter-Strike, don't watch Simple.
Exactly.
Because like he makes the crazy plays.
Exactly.
He's like the plays that don't fall into his textbook.
But I think that's the magic of CS.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, and if you do it right and in a correct timing, you'll make it work.
Yeah. Did you plan on going pro or dream of it? Like you said you like got to a point where you just wanted to be better than your brother and then your classmates and then everyone in Lithuania, and then it just kept going and going. But did you sit there one day and you're like, I'm going to bust my ass and work really hard to become a pro, or did the pieces just kind of start falling into place?
At the start, I just wanted to be better, better than myself, than everyone. And I think when I turned like 19 or 20, somewhere around that time, I'm like, fuck, I want to be a pro. What's there to stop me? And yeah, I just went and tried and grinded and got invited to FPLC. And then from there on out, I got invited to Mad Lions, and then it's up from there. Was
there a point where like you got to, you know, like where your mentality shifted and it just like clicked and you were like, I've done it. Like I'm a pro, like making a living off this. I've actually accomplished and reached and I've found my place in this scene where I can consistently be a pro.
I don't think I felt safe until I joined Apeks.
Okay.
That was the point where I just felt safe. Okay, this is where I belong now.
Sure.
But in Mad Lions, it was shaky because I knew if I don't perform, I'm just going to get switched like this.
Yeah.
That's the sad world of CS. And if you're not good, you're going to get replaced. There's thousands of people who want to take your place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cutthroat. I mean, speaking of your time at Apeks, you know, feeling comfortable there for the first time, and then you guys go and make that run in Paris all the way to the semifinals. Did you expect that at all?
No. Our goal was to reach the major.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everything from there was a cherry on top.
Everything from there was why not?
Yeah.
Why not go and beat them? What's there to stop us? There's no one expecting us to beat them. Any team at the major, we'll show them. And yeah.
Did it help? I mean, obviously, if you have that mentality, you're obviously not putting a whole lot of pressure on yourselves. And you're making that.
There was no pressure. Yeah. I mean, maybe the pressure you create for yourself, like, we're better than these guys. Or maybe it's, take an example, it's Team Liquid. Everyone knows it's Team Liquid. They got the best players in the world, all that stuff. I'm like, we're not worse than them. We're just not as known. And let's show it to the world. And we did it.
That's kind of the mentality. That's cool. When you get done with that semifinal and you look back on that major, or like in the time very quickly after that major, did it ever like creep into your head that, you know, a semifinal finish is not an easy thing? Like a lot of players go through their whole careers. Like, did it ever click in your head that like this might have been the peak?
No. I don't think. The thing is, I've never really felt lost in my life, because it's always, every single year I make great steps towards my career. Like Mad Lions, and then I went onto Apeks to play with Sharks, Kuban, all those great guys that I could learn a lot from. And then the next year I go to NAVI, and I just haven't experienced failure as much. Of course, you fail, you lose games, but you learn from them. It's not like a long period of time where you don't succeed. It's, you have some period of failure, you learn from it, and then you either win something or reach the peak of your career. So I don't know the feeling of failing for a long period.
Yeah.
But at the major, it didn't feel like it was something big. It just felt like we actually could have won the game against Vitality. Would have been on to the finals. Although I think it was the final to game Legion.
Do you?
Yeah.
You think you could have beaten Vitality in the semifinal, and you would think you would have lost the game?
Yes. We were mentally broken against them. We could not win a single game. We played some tournaments against them prior. They stopped us from qualifying to Rio with the old Apeks lineup.
Right.
And they were our kryptonite. I think we were scared to play against them. Even myself, I could feel that they were a step ahead.
That's funny. Of all the teams you guys had to play and beat, that's the one team that you were like...
We could face any team and feel stronger than against Gamer Legion.
All right. Make it make sense.
And it's a funny thing. I was also supposed to join them, but I joined Apeks instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice. So it was kind of a mental battle.
Okay. There's a little bit of a grudge match there for you as well. Speaking of that switched into NAVI after Apeks, how did that go down? How did that occur? Did who called you? Who reached out? Did Blade call you as the coach? Did someone from management reach out?
Someone from NAVI's management reached out to my agent, and my agent was like, "NAVI wants to have a talk." I'm like, "No way." Well, why do you want to talk to me? And he's like, "Oh, they just want to talk." Okay, so I call Blade. I will get into a talk. We spoke Russian at that time, and I was not that good in Russian. And he was like, "Let's switch to English." I'm like, "Why?" In my head, I thought, "Why?" And then it clicked. I think we're making an international lineup.
Yeah.
And it went up from there.
So he gave you a little language test.
Yeah.
That's funny. What was the biggest draw for you about joining NAVI? Was it like it's a legendary and historic org in Counter-Strike and in esports? Was it the players on the team? Was it the lineup that you might have heard the players that they were also talking to?
It was a mixture of everything. I knew I was going to play with Simple. I knew it's a legendary org. Even when I was not interested in Pro CS, NAVI was always a team that you looked up to.
Yeah.
Because Simple played there, Electronic, everyone, and it was just a dream that you never thought would become a reality.
Okay.
Because I chose to go the international path as a pro, and of course they were CIS based at that time. And
never envisioned a future in which they would go international.
No, never. Even when they told me, I'm like, something's wrong. I don't understand what's the reason.
Yeah. Did you even have to think about it? No. It's just like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. Since I got the offer, it's always been NAVI. I've had multiple offers from other teams, and I was just postponing them until NAVI says, yes, you're in. And as soon as they said, I canceled the other offers and went straight to NAVI.
That's really cool. I like that. I guess, one of the you've mentioned Simple a couple times, and one of the big newsworthy things early on in your tenure in NAVI was Simple announcing that he's going to be taking the break and stepping back. What was that like? I mean, you're obviously looking forward to playing with him. Him taking that break cast a lot of doubts on how that team would actually work and function. Was that a weird time within the team?
Who's talking now? I feel like he deserved a break. The man has won everything, accomplished everything as a player. He's a huge figure in our scene, and what's there for him to play? What's there for him to grab onto? Like, he has everything, and I feel like he's been grinding his ass off for the past who knows how many years.
12 years, yeah.
Exactly. Some people don't even have careers that long, and he's been owning in those years. So
there.
If I put myself in his shoes, I'll probably take a break as well.
Yeah.
I mean, international lineup is a challenge, and I mean, he can take it as a challenge, but I don't think he gains a lot from it. So
sure.
I would take a break.
Did you tell he was like a little off? Could you tell there was like some exhaustion setting in there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm. You lose simple, but then you gain wonderful. And you know, I think the fun thing, the nice thing for wonderful was that no one even dared like say that he had to fill the shoes of simple in any meaningful way, just because it's too hard to imagine someone being able to do that. But wonderful's kind of emerged as a pretty special player in his own way. What's he like? What's he like as a teammate? What's he like as a player?
He's a cool-blooded player, which I was really surprised about. I remember our first official. He just switched on another gear, played, communicated better than in practice, dealt with the pressure, and he was making plays since our first official. I was really surprised. He was way better on LAN than he was on practice.
Oh, which is sweet. That's always a nice luxury. Yeah. It usually goes the other way.
Yes, I was very surprised, and I'm super happy.
When you watch him as an opera, what is it that what is it, you know, from the outside, when I'm casting him or when people are watching him, he's obviously very good in clutch situations, pretty smart player as well, makes some mistakes, but not anything crazy. But what for you as a teammate, are you like, this is his best quality?
I feel like he's really calculated and also very confident in himself, which I don't see a lot from players. Anything he does, I can see it in his movements, and he's going to believe he's going to win. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes on Anubis, he's jumping onto site against 4 players. I'm like, what is he doing there? And then he wins the round. I'm like, okay.
You're like, fair play. You get this one.
Yeah. If he does that, no one's going to stop him. Yeah. Of course, they're not going to work out every single time, but it's helping the team a lot, because if that's the opera that's taking initiative, you as a teammate, you're going to feel the confidence and the need to support him during the play. So
it gives you some energy.
Yeah.
What do you? There's a lot of conversation around operas right now in the scene, and obviously there's some very good ones. And I think if you go through like a list of maybe top 5 operas, Wonderful's probably not in most people's top 5 lists. You've got guys like Brokey, you've got guys like Monesi, Zaiwu, Device, Jame. You have all these big operas. I know I'm leaving a couple out, but where do you place Wonderful when you watch him play and you watch other operas play? You think he can compete with kind of like the top pantheon of operas right now?
I feel like he could compete with anyone. Of course, he doesn't have the experience yet, but he does have the foundation to do so. And I'd place him in my top 5.
Okay. Yeah,
sure.
Shout out to the teammate. This is the GGBet Blitz questions with JL. Make one spicy change to CS2.
I'd like for them to introduce a new competitive map pool. So in like the span of 6 months, for them to replace 3 maps, and add 3 new ones. That would be a spicy change.
Every 6 months, 3 new maps.
Yes.
Now. Okay. Yeah. It started out not spicy, but you added some spice onto it right at the end. That's a lot of new maps. What music do you listen to pregame to get you in the mood for a big match?
It depends. If I'm feeling a little bit down, I'll probably listen to some aggressive American rap or funk.
Or funk?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of funk are we talking?
Brazilian funk. Basically, it's really hyping you up.
Perfect. If you could live the career of any CS player in history, whose would it be?
Probably Simples.
Simples?
Man was a rock star.
Yeah, he really is. He has. It's unique. What movie best describes your life and your Counter-Strike career?
What movie? I actually don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies.
Okay. Do you have an actor that you'd want to play you in a movie?
I'd like to play Harry Potter.
You want to be Harry Potter?
Yes, I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Harry. I mean, it doesn't describe me, but I love Harry Potter. So.
Okay, cool. I like that. Counter-Strike doesn't exist. It gets snapped out of existence.
Apeks Legends.
Oh, sure. Okay. The question was what we're going to do in life instead, but Apex Legends Pro works.
Yeah. Or a streamer.
Or a streamer.
Apex Legends competitive scene is not that big.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be a streamer.
A streamer.
Yeah, like Shroud.
Streamers live the dream, don't they?
Yeah.
They have it easy. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't doubt yourself. Yeah. In the end, you're still going to make it.
Okay. That's very fitting.
If you put in hard work. There's no other way.
It's very fitting for you, yeah. All right, last one. Weirdest or craziest moment while being a pro? Like some kind of crazy fan interaction, like a place or an experience that you would never have gotten otherwise?
So I think it was 4 months ago. I went into a bar to get a beer.
Where were you at?
Lithuania.
Okay.
I just came from Gamers 8, I believe so.
Yep.
And I was walking out the bar, I had a beer. There was like an outside terrace you could go on. And there's a guy, he comes up to me and be like, hey, I lost money because of you. Like, what do you mean? I bet on you. I'm like, what did you bet on? For you to beat Vitality 2-0. I'm like, are you dumb? On Vitality. I said, you're a dumbass.
So how do you respond to that? Did he laugh?
He got intimidated, but I'm also big, so
Yeah,
he just left.
it works. He just walked away. One other teammate that you always have some nice things to say about is Aleksib. Been very publicly supportive of him. You've even expressed like, I guess, disbelief that he was kind of available to you guys. What do you think? He's struggled to like gain that moniker of like one of the must-have IGLs.
I feel like belief in himself. I felt like he always had this confidence, but I felt like there was a little piece missing. Not a lot of people notice it, but because I know him so well, and we got close into each other during the time, and I feel like now after we won the major, he doesn't have that. He can finally relax and just know that what he's doing is right, and it's nice to see on his face.
Seems to be a theme with you, this idea of confidence. I mean, your message to your younger self is don't doubt yourself. And one of the things you like about Counter-Strike is just confidently peaking and dominating your opponents. I think it's not really talked about how frequently self-doubt can kind of creep into a pro player's mind during a game.
I feel like it's a very common issue. I think CS is mostly mental. You can drill the aim routine, you can drill the strats, but what you cannot drill is mental. Yeah. And you really have to have strong mental to perform during those clutch situations, during those long periods of times when you have no break or no time to rest or think about how you're feeling right now. So really have to have a thick skin in the game.
So are we going to see just the next level out of Aleksib now after winning the major? He's got that trophy. He can put the middle finger up to all the teams that replaced him over the years. As an in-game leader, he's going to come in just rock solid.
I hope so. I'm pretty sure he's going to do that.
Perfect. Talk about Blade as a coach. You had the interview with him, and obviously through the language change at you in the interview to join NAVI. But he has such a reputation from the outside, from his time as a player in 1.6, time as a coach, obviously. Tactical genius, the Blade system, the ways they've come up with, calling different spots on the map using numbers. What's it like working with him on the inside?
I feel like he's a different person in the game. He's very tactical. He's actually a very fun person and very talkative outside the game, which I found really strange. He has two personalities, in-game and outside the game.
The coaching personality.
Yeah. He's very tactical and very analytical when it comes to the game. No emotions. It's just, this is the right thing to do, and no matter how you feel, you have to do it. And that's one of the most praised characteristics, at least from my side, about him. And yeah, just that it's such a different vibe to any other coach I've worked with. I mean, I've worked with one coach at that school, and it's hard to put it in words.
Has there been like a moment where you've been working with Blade and you're kind of like this idea of the Blade system, and he's talked about wanting to have like a basic foundational system so whenever there's a roster change, people can learn the system and slot in relatively easy. Has there been a moment where that's kind of clicked in you and you've been like, this is why Navi's been so good in the past? Like this structure that Blade has created has allowed this team to play so well.
Yeah, his structure is unique. It's hard to play. I feel like it might sound easy for a player to slot in, but teams and players are very different in CS. Some people want to play by the book, want to play by setting the round from start, but we don't have that. Of course, we do have those rounds, but our main goal is to play with the opposing team and see what they like to do, what they don't. Of course, we have a game prep before, but we try to play with whatever the other team gives us.
Well, it worked. It worked in Copenhagen. You're the major MVP.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It is. It was my dream, but it's one of those where I never thought it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I'm going to win the major, but
You didn't envision yourself as the MVP?
No. I had the players like Wonderful. I had players like Simple and Wonderful, then Ime, Bit, and maybe I'm better than Aleksib, but I never thought I'll shine brighter than
those guys. Yeah. Just, I mean, right out of the gate, I just have to ask, what was it like landing back in Lithuania and having that whole crowd in the airport just waiting for you, cheering for you, chanting your name?
I'm not gonna lie, I felt more nervous than going onto the stage in Copenhagen.
Really?
Yeah. I came to the baggage claim, I got the luggage, and I already see through the windows that there's like 10 people. I'm like, okay, my heart's starting to beat, and then the door opens, and I see like 100 people. Second floor, first floor, I see cameras, cameras flashing. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was crazy, and it was super nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to react. I never received such support from my country.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone would know how to react in that situation. How long did it take you to get out of the airport from that point?
Like an hour.
An hour, just shaking hands, taking pictures.
They were really respectful, actually.
Yeah.
First, like the first line of people were my family and the closest people. I got to them, and then I got to the people that are not as close, and they were really respectful, and they were waiting for me to take pictures. It's not like they're going into you.
Yeah.
They wait until I come up to them, and it was super nice to see.
That had to have been a very special moment for your family too.
Yeah.
Have you noticed in Lithuania that you have are you getting recognized more? Were there any like news articles about you and stuff? Is it a little harder to move around town now?
It's a little hard to move around town. It's a small country, but it's really strange because we also have influencers that have as many followers as me. But I was out with my friends and some influencers at like the main street of my city, and no one came up to them, but everyone came up to me, and they were like super excited and shaking. I was like, wow, this is a lot of impact.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's hard to get through the city now.
How is it, when I went back and watched some of the games you played in the major, one thing that struck out to me with you, and especially with this MVP performance you have overall, just, obviously by sheer numbers and statistics, you don't match up to the MVP trophies that we've seen out of guys like Simple, guys like Zaiwu, but the sheer impact that you were able to have for your team was actually crazy. In all the close games, whenever it came down to the wire, whenever the other team was making a comeback, whenever you guys were down by 2 and someone needed to make a play, it was you every single time in so many games. So what is it about these big moments? Is it something in your mentality that's like, I need to make a play right now?
Yeah, I feel like there's no more time to make mistakes, no more errors, and something clicks in me. I'm not sure, but somehow I happen to replicate it like most of the time, and I feel like I've heard the quote, diamonds are made under pressure, and I like it, I stick to it, and yeah, something clicks in me.
I mean, the sheer number of them, dude, like the MP9 round against Spirit on Nuke.
Oh yeah.
That you turn into the retake.
It was 2v5.
Yeah, and the 2v4 on Mirage against Eternal Fire in the playoffs, and then the 2-on-3 where you get 3 kills with the B-bomb site on Mirage. Like, it just happened times. And the ace against FaZe in the finals.
G2.
Yeah, the G2 Deagle round.
I aced against FaZe?
I think you aced and clutched the last round of Ancient to win the map.
Aced? That was an ace?
I could be wrong. On the ace. But you definitely clutched. It was definitely a 1v3.
1v3, yeah, for sure. But it was an easy 1v3. It was really easy.
Yeah.
It felt really doable when I played it, but when I rewatched the game, they were 1 HP. I'm like, okay, that was if I don't win this, then
sure. But you can't know that in the moment. I mean, in the moment, the pressure is still there regardless. Like it was so consistent that you did this.
I don't know how it happened actually.
Yeah.
Oh, but by the way, I'm one of the lowest rated MVPs, but also we had a negative round loss.
Yeah.
49% of 1 round.
So this was such a weird run. What was it about? What was like the defining factor of this team that made this all possible? Because just looking at those things, you're like, it shouldn't be possible.
Never give up. I don't think we. I mean, the games we lost were stumps. Even against Spirit, we won Nuke, but then the other ones we got stumped. Against Cloud9, we got stumped on Overpass and Ancient, and the map we picked was Mirage. It was really close as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we got stumped, and that's where the negative rounds come in.
Yeah, you either won close or lost big.
Yeah, and just one game at a time.
Yeah. So many of your moments after clutches, we talked about it a bunch as talent watching the event and casting is, we would always see you just you'd clutch, you'd have a big play, a big round, swing the game, and you'd look out into the crowd with a little smile on your face, and then you just take a deep breath and you refocus on the game. You seem very calm. I
was actually looking at my fiancé. She was right there in front.
You knew where she was.
Yeah, and every time I made like a play or something, I'd always look at her and smile and see her, and would exchange glances.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was beautiful to me, and it gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Because I knew she was there, and even if I failed during the next round, I always have her by my side, and It gives you some sort of safety.
Yeah, that's cute. I like that. She bailed you out another time as well. We talked about this at the hotel after you guys won very early on. You talked about HLTV confirmed as well. Just bring it up in case some people didn't know the story. You almost quit playing Counter-Strike because you wanted to just go to be a delivery driver.
Yeah. It's, I wouldn't say it was a rush period of my life, but it's just that when we moved in together, I didn't have a lot of money, so I was living off of hers. And I'm like, I have to bring something to the family. So I'm going to be a delivery guy. And she's like, what are you talking about? You're going to waste all of this talent and all this hard work you've done for nothing? And she's like, it's fine. You can stream from home, play CS, make up a couple of bucks from there. And if you need something, I'll always be there by your side and give you the money that you need. And it was painful for a man. Not painful, but it was what's the word? Maybe I was a little bit ashamed.
Okay.
But,
yeah, you feel like you have a responsibility that you weren't fulfilling.
Yeah, I wasn't even giving 50% of what she was doing. So, but I'm glad she
had your back.
Yeah, she had my back.
Yeah, that's cool. Where was this exactly in the timeline of your Counter-Strike career?
It was when I was about to join Mad Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right before that, and then just a year later, you're joining Apeks, or sometime later, you're joining Apeks, and that's when you start feeling a little comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. After you win the major, when did it fully set into you on like an emotional and mental level that you were champions? Like that rush of emotions and adrenaline after finally winning has to be so intense.
It was very intense. I even, when we were going to pick up the trophy, I almost fainted. So I had to sit down and breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
You could see some pictures on HLTV or, I had to take a breath because it went black. We lifted the trophy. I'm like, I cried a lot. I went up to my fiancé to kiss her because she'd been a part of the journey. But I think it really set in when I came back home after the vacation. So it was like 7 or 8 days after winning the major.
Yeah.
And I just sat in my chair that I usually play CS at. I'm like, wow, I'm truly the champion.
When you win a major, are you like, man, I want to play more Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
Because you just won?
Yeah.
It's not like I just went on this crazy grind, I need like a day off. It's like, man, get me back in the server.
Get me back in tournaments. And but it's good we took a break. Because I feel like it's hard to focus on the game when you've experienced such a high. Mm-hmm. And there's not really much that can replicate that, even if you're playing officials. So you have to take a wind down a little bit, and focus on the next tournament.
Yeah. What was the whole sequence of media like after winning the major? I mean, it turns into kind of a zoo down there. Did you have to do a bunch of interviews? You got off stage. Do you get to enjoy the moment, or is it kind of like whisked to this interview, major MVP, major champion, then whisked off to this one as well? This person wants to talk to you.
I feel like once we won the major, like we're in control. So I wanted to enjoy the moment.
You're the kings.
Yeah, and I said for the interviewer, wait, I want to enjoy my like 10 to 15 minutes of just relaxing, and I'll come back to him, you know. Yeah. And if he wants to wait 10 to 15 minutes, I'll come back.
Good for you. I mean, it's another major that everyone just doubted you the whole step of the way. Like I think most people, probably a lot of people had you going down to Eternal Fire in the quarterfinals.
That is crazy.
A lot of people had you going. I mean, certainly the G2 one couldn't have surprised you that people thought G2 would take you out.
I feel like people always think that G2 is going to take us out, but what is it, 8-0 now?
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the most important one. I'm like, and before the game, I'm thinking, okay, now we're 7-0 up. What if this time, when it really matters, they're going to beat us? But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
So I'm glad.
Well, largely thanks to your deagle.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But the game did take a turn after that one.
Yeah.
And even after this, we won the half 8-4, and we still managed to only close it out 13-11.
Yeah, it was still very close. They made a comeback. You certainly had to have said something about how much of a badass you were after that deagle round.
Yeah. People were very happy about it. And even after the game, they're like, this was a game changer. And I'm like,
yeah.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, it changed the entire nature of the game. It was crazy. What's the first thing you did? You went and hugged and kissed your fiancé.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's the second thing you did when you stepped off stage?
I went outside alone and just breathed some fresh air.
Yeah. You have a very, I just know from speaking to you, the whole delivery driver thing, part of that, you said it's a very like meditative experience almost. You just get to sit and be alone. And this is the same kind of concept. Go outside, get alone with your thoughts, spend 10 minutes and just center yourself.
It felt so good. That air was the freshest of them all. I stood there And of course, we had some security guys around, but I just stood there and I just enjoyed the moment. It was so peaceful. It was, I want to win the tournament just so I can feel it again.
Yeah, that's sweet. Well, I guess that leads into another good question is, in the future of NAVI, now that you guys have won the major, doubted the whole way, and now you're exiting the major as champions, and I think there's still doubts about if NAVI can replicate that level of success. Like, obviously, statistically that we've talked about, if you go over it, it's not like some dominant victory, dominant run through the major, not that it matters. But is it weird to you that people still doubt that moving forward NAVI can win trophies and be contenders?
I don't think it's weird because it's our first tournament win. People say it's a fluke. We had a good game, a good tournament. But if we don't start improving, I don't think it's going to be our only trophy. Mm-hmm. But we still have to work for that because, all of us peaked at the right moment. And I think on average, we're like half, maybe even less than halfway to our true potential.
Blade mentioned this a lot in some interviews after the major, of saying like, we're on this path, and I didn't expect us to win a major so early in it. What was your guys' goal that you set going into the major?
I think we set top 4 for ourselves, but if we lost the G2, I don't think we would have been satisfied.
Yeah.
Even if we lost the final, I don't think we would have been satisfied. Because it's one of those things where when you're this close, you have to make that extra shot to actually do the thing.
Right. With winning the major trophy and you're only halfway down this path, what are the next steps for the team? We've heard, Ema kind of taking a bigger role as a second voice within the team. Wonderful's development is obviously, let's see where that can go. This MVP level JL, is that consistent now? Is that the JL we're getting? Because
we'll see.
It shocked me seeing you do that kind of at the event.
It shocked me as well. And it didn't feel like a fluke to MVP, to be honest. I felt like I did the impact, and it truly felt that I changed the game in some sort of way. Mm-hmm. And but I feel like our next step is just using the major win as our confidence booster and just going on from here. And I hope we keep the same form.
Same form, yeah, forward. What are you doing in 5-10 years? You still playing Counter-Strike? Is that
10 years? Probably not. In 5 years, I see myself playing CS.
Is that due to your own internal plans?
Yeah, these are internal plans. Maybe I get benched next year. Maybe this year, who knows?
Yeah.
But I really want to try myself out as a streamer, maybe as an analyst in some type of way. I'm not that much of a brain myself, but I can waffle a little bit in stream. So CS will still be a part of my life for sure. But as a pro, I don't know, it's really stressful. And I want to have a family, I want to have some kids, so yeah. And I want to be there for the kids. That's the main important thing. And yeah. Up until 30, I imagine myself as a CS pro, but maybe later as a businessman, a streamer, something that I can climb the hill, but do it in kind of a safe space of my home. Right.
Yeah. And you get to create something that you get to control.
Yeah.
That's cool. What is your thoughts on, you have these plans for when you get a little bit older, but what are your thoughts on players playing after 30? Is there a drop off? We're seeing more and more players kind of try and play into their 30s. Is that a thought in your head at all of like, there is probably an age when there's going to be a drop off?
I feel like it's more of a mental thing. You see people like Rain, he is kind of old, but is still playing insanely well. I don't feel like if you feel old, that's your time to end, but you still feel young and capable. I feel like you will be capable of playing at the top, but of course your reaction is probably going to drop off, but there's other things that you can boost. Maybe play a little bit smarter, become the in-game leader. I feel like if you start your career early, you're going to end it in 12 years. So for example, like one I see, he's going to end like at 27 or 28. But the people that started later, just like me, I could play until like 33, 34.
Yeah, because you got to do it a little bit later.
Yeah, before dropping.
Is it the grind of the calendar that kind of wears you down, you think?
I think so, because it's a lot of stress, actually.
Yeah. Have you guys in NAVI kind of discussed what next year looks like? Now that the partner leagues have all kind of gone away, everything's opened
crazy.
up, and we're all looking at the schedule like, holy hell.
The schedule is crazy, but I think you have the option to skip some tournaments. We'll probably be skipping and picking the tournaments that we'd like to peak, perform on, and I mean, playing every single tournament, I think it would be a waste of your time, energy, because you're not going to play it at your best level. Of course, if you're the best team in the world and you don't need as much preparation, you can play every single tournament and win it. But at this day and age, we don't have a team like that that's capable of winning 5 tournaments in a row. So we'll probably have a tournament break, bootcamp, tournament break, bootcamp, something along those lines. Maybe we'll play 2 tournaments in a row, but if there's a big tournament, we'll take a break, bootcamp, play it, and then see what happens.
You said there's no real teams that we have at the moment that can win like the 5 events in a row. In the early days of CSGO, we had, we kind of marked eras for teams, the NIP era and the Fnatic era and the Astralis era, obviously. Is having an era possible in today's Counter-Strike?
I feel like anything's possible, but it's really hard. The competition level is way higher than it used to be before. Mm-hmm. Everyone's really good, and I have no idea how to win every single tournament. You have to be at the top of your game, but to be at the top of your game, you have to be mentally ready, which is hard when you have so many tournaments going on. And also, you have to prepare your game, because you're going to get analyzed. And if you get analyzed, there's not much you can do. Of course, you can switch some things up, but it's hard to change your game.
Right. How do you like Dust 2 coming back in for Overpass?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah. Even though Overpass is one of my hated maps, but now at the later stages of my career, I enjoyed it to some extent.
Sure.
It was one of the favorite.
You found a way to appreciate it.
Yes. I had to, because if you want to perform on the map, you have to enjoy it a little bit. And but Dust 2, I'll probably be taking like the B site anchor and the B lurk. I feel like it's interesting. I've played Dust 2 my whole life. I enjoy the map. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Okay. But I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So just to start closing up, the outlook for NAVI is good. You guys are at 50% strength, and you've already won a major. You're a major final or champion, a major semifinalist, and a major MVP. Now, you mentioned Simple earlier had accomplished everything there was to accomplish. How do you keep going? So how do you keep going when you've already done this in such a short, early time span in your career?
I think it's just go for it. I have to create another set of goals that I like to reach, but goals that are truly dear to me. I can't be like, I want to be top 1 in Chill TV, but I don't care. It's a tough thing, because the main goal was also always the major. It's the one tournament everyone wants to win, and you won it now. Yeah. Now, I'd like to win Cologne and Candidates. Those are the 2 tournaments that are also a very big part of the Counter-Strike history.
Landscape, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the 2 tournaments I'm aiming for, and just kind of prove that it wasn't a fluke major, and it wasn't a fluke at the MVP.
Okay, those are the next goals for JL.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Boom.
Thank you, Juice.
Yeah, thank you, mate. That was good.